of lectures with the purpose of correcting and rectifying some concepts of Sufism. And we have, as usually, we have to remind myself and you to the main ideas or previous lectures which done before. So first we started by the definition of Sufism, and we were talking about the anti-Sufi, Orientalist and Sufi approach, three approaches. And we mentioned the difference between them. We mentioned why Wahhabi approach are against Sufism, why we have to be cautious in adopting the Orientalist approach, and why the Sufi approach is the correct one. And we agree about one definition of Sufism. There are, as we mentioned, that there are many definitions of Sufism, thousands of definitions. Just Ahmad Zarruq, this is in the 7th century of Hijrah, he mentioned 2,000 definitions of Sufism. But to take it easy, there is just one definition which is easy and which is applicable and which is easy for all of us to understand and to convince people with this definition. So Sufism is the purification of the carnal self in order to reach al-ihsan. So when Sufism in previous books, sometimes it refers to as ihsan, we understand why. Sometimes when referred to as tazkiyah, we understand why. So Sufism is tazkiyah in order to reach the maqam al-ihsan. This is clear. And we discussed the 5 origins of Sufism. And we say that it is from Suf, from the clothes, woolen clothes, from Safa, from the Ahl al-Sufa, the people, poor people who were at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. They are the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Dharr al-Ghifari is one of them. And also from the rank, the first rank in Salah, the first rank in Zakah, the first rank in Jihad. They are always the pioneering to do any voluntary action and any obligatory action in Islamic teaching, according to Islamic teaching. And also we mentioned that there is another derivation which is taken by Orientalists, in general, which means Sophia. It is taken, Sufism is taken from Sophia, which is wisdom. And we mentioned that wisdom is also one of the purposes of Sufism, but it's not. We have to be attention in accepting this derivation from Orientalist, and I mention why. Then we discuss some principles of Sufism, like companionship with the living Shaykh and the methodology of purification, and we mentioned how it is important. Then dhikr and the importance in the Sufi path. And we correct some misconceptions, like the Sufism as the inner aspect of Islam, which is separated from Sharia. Also, we distinguish between Sufi mashayikh. There are many types of Sufi mashayikh, really. There are like 2 big categories: fake Sufis and authentic Sufis. But including these authentic Sufis, there are many other categories I didn't mention, but now you can write this as well. That through the authentic Sufi mashayikh, there are 2 types. It is called Shaykhun Wasil wa Shaykhun Musil. That the Shaykh al-Wasil is the one who reached the purpose, who is the wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It reached, like started as murid, purification path, from the beginning, from the condition into the ultimate goal, and reached the goal, reached the ultimate purpose. This is wasil. He is a wali. This sheikh is authentic sheikh. This is one other of mashayikh, which is better than this, who is shaykhun wasilun wa musil, the one who already reached the purpose and also can make others reach the purpose, help others reach the purpose. So some people, they are sitting with some mashayikh, they can benefit from their presence, but spiritually they cannot benefit. They cannot get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They cannot go step by step to reach the highest station of ihsan, because they need the one who can show them the path. And I mentioned that this authentic sheikh has been guided himself by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the Prophet and by the Sufi mashayikh. And he is the one who doesn't claim I am. He is the one who is consumed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, didn't see himself. The real Sufi sheikh doesn't see himself. He doesn't say I am. He only consumed totally in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forget himself in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Has nothing to do with himself. That's why sometimes this mashayikh, sometimes they spend much time with the murideen, with the disciples than their families. They spend time in da'wah, in traveling, in doing da'wah, more than doing their own business, because they are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not all people are qualified to be like this type of people. Those people are chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do this kind of duty. And we mentioned the story of the first Sufi order which came to North Africa. The first Sufi order was established or founded, not came, to establish and founded in North Africa. It is the Shadiliya Sufi order. And we mentioned the story of Mawlay Abdul Salam ibn Mashish, the teacher of this great scholar, Sheikh Abu Hassan Shadili, who traveled from Morocco to Tunisia to Egypt and then established the Shadiliya Sufi order. And I mentioned that this Shadiliya Sufi order also has some kind of link with the Qadiriya Sufi order. This is Plato mentioned. The Qadiriya Sufi order, as I mentioned, that there is some kind of connection, some kind of links between the Shadiliya and the Qadiriya Sufi order. This link is through Abu Madian al-Ghawth, because there are some historians who mentioned that Sheikh Mulay Abdul Salam ibn Mashish is the student of some Sufi mashayikh who are connected directly to the Mulay Abdul Qadir Jilani, the founder of Qadiriya. They mentioned two names. They mentioned the Imam Abu Madian al-Ghawth, who is the direct student of Mulay Abdul Qadir Jilani and the successor of Mulay Abdul Qadir Jilani in Qadiriya. And they mentioned al-Madani al-Zayyat as well, who is Qadiri. Then now, inshallah, we are talking about another, not branch, but another major source of Sufism, which came from the Prophet ﷺ into Mulay Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, into Abu al-Hasan al-Shadili, till Sidi Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, till Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al-Dabbagh, which is called Tariqa Muhammadiyya. And why it is called Tariqa Muhammadiyya and not Tariqa Shadiliyya or Tariqa Qadiriyya or Tariqa Dabbagiyya? Why Tariqa Muhammadiyya? Why Tariqa Muhammadiyya? This is also from the wisdom of the mashayikh, from the wisdom of Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Daba, and from the wisdom of Sheikh Sidi Ahmed Daba. Why? Because no sheikh named his tariqah in his own life. Even Mullah Abdul Qadir Jilani, he didn't named his tariqah as Tariqa al-Qadiriyah. He mentioned that my tariqah is Tariqa Muhammadiyah, because he connects the people to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why his tariqah Muhammad. The same for tariqah Shadidiyah. Even Abu Hassan Shadidi never mentioned that my tariqah is tariqah Shadidiyah. He never mentioned this. He mentioned that my tariqah is tariqah Muhammadiyah. The same for Sheikh Tijani. Tariqah Tijaniya now is famous all over the world. But in the first book, which is written about tariqah Tijaniya, never Sheikh Sidi Ahmed Tijani mentioned that my tariqah is tariqah Tijaniya. This is also from the fake mashayikh. If you find any sheikh named his tariqah in his life, by his name, he gave his name to tariqah in his life, this is one of the signs that this tariqah is not authentic. Why? Because the mashayikh is not inviting people to themselves. They invite people into Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Mullah Abdul Qadir mentioned that الشيخ ليس مقصودا لذاته إنما مقصود لغيره. That sheikh is not a purpose in itself, but it is a means, it is a vehicle towards the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So why Tariqah Muhammad? So Tariqah Muhammadiyah, what is its connection with Tariqah Qadiriyah? It's connected directly to Sheikh Mullah Abdul Qadir, teaching of Sheikh Mullah Abdul Qadir Jilani, not to Tariqah. There is teaching of Mashayikh and there is Tariqah which is come after. The Tariqah which come after can be deviated, can be just some customs still there, some traditions, some kind of deed. Yes, it can benefit, it can be beneficial, it can be for tabaraka, for tabarruk, for some kind of blessing, but not a living water of revelation. There is no there. That's why Tariqah Muhammadi is connected directly to the Mashayikh, is connected directly to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it connects people to the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Sheikh of this Tariqah is Mullah Abdul Qadir, Sheikh of Tariqah Muhammadiyah. In Morocco, all Mullah Abdul Qadir Jilani is from Tariqah Muhammadiyah. Abu Hassan Shadili Tariqah Muhammadiyah. Ahmed ibn Idreesi al-Hassani Tariqah Muhammadiyah. Imam Jazuli, the author of Dalail al-Khairat, is from Tariqah Muhammadiyah. Ahmad Zarruq, one of the famous scholars and Sufis from North Africa as well, he is from Tariqah Muhammadiyah. All the authentic mashayikh are from Tariqah Muhammadiyah. Even in Bangladesh, in India, in Pakistan, in everywhere where you go, if there is any authentic sheikh who has who linked directly to the Prophet ﷺ, this is Tariqah Muhammadiyah. And inshallah, Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, his life, his karamat, and his book, inshallah, we will see before like talking about these titles. Inshallah, we'll see just a brief report which is presented just 2 days ago. Okay. Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, as many of you know, that he dies as a young man. He died before he reached the 40 years old. but he was one, and he is considered till the moment, not only in Morocco, but all over the world. He is considered one of the greatest awliya of the time, because he reached the top, the highest rank of awliya. And how we can judge this, how we can know this? He has no tariqah in his life. His tariqah started now to be alive, and this is one of the karamat of Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh. He left few students, no tariqah, he left few students. And he mentioned this in Idreesi, that maybe my inheritor can come after my death. He mentioned this in Idreesi. He left few students, but with the shining hearts, who shining all over the world, who shining in Malaysia, in Indonesia, in all African countries, in different parts of the world. He left some of his students are Sheikh Ahmed ibn Idreesi. This is the first students is Sheikh Ahmed ibn Mubarak al-Lamti. Ahmed ibn Mubarak al-Lamti is one of the greatest scholars of Al-Qarawiyyin, graduated from Qarawiyyin University, and he is the one who wrote Idreesi. Idreesi is the only book which is, there are two other books which is lifted by Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh. But Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh never wrote anything by himself. He was a illiterate man. But this scholar, Sheikh Lamti, Sheikh Ahmed ibn Mubarak, wrote the book of Idreesi from the Kalam Sidi Abdul Aziz, from the Siyan of Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz, from the Karamat of Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz. There is another book which I'm now in the process of editing. It is تيسير المواهب في كرامات سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ as well. It is تيسير المواهب في كرامات الشيخ سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ. And there are, yes, you can mention if it is ready. This program is about the 1,000 zawiya in the world. 1,000 zawiya. So this is one of the zawiya, Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, Fas, Morocco. This is Fas. This is Bab al-Futuh, the place where Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh is buried.
الشيخ سيدي عبد العزيز
بن مسعود الدباغ
هو أحد منارات فاس في التصوف، بحيث لا يمكننا أبدا أن نتحدث عن التصوف في مدينة فاس دون أن نذكر الشيخ سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ، كما هو حال يعني الشيخ سيدي أحمد التيجاني ومولاي علي الجمال العمراني وغيرهم من أولياء الله الذين تزخر بهم هذه المدينة. الشيخ سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ هو حسيب نسيب ينتمي إلى الشيخ عيسى بن المولى إدريس الثاني بن المولى إدريس الأول بن
I mentioned that Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh is from Idreesi lineage. He is the son of Mawlay, like one of the descendants of Mawlay Isa ibn Mawlay Idrees, ibn Mawlay Idrees first, ibn Abdullah al-Kamil, ibn al-Hasan al-Muthanna, ibn al-Hasan, ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib, Ibn Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet. So Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh belonged to this.
بل إن الله سبحانه وتعالى جمع له المقامات.
He mentioned, this scholar mentioned that all the spiritual station, all maqamats of Ahl al-Tasawwuf, all the stations, spiritual stations of Ahl al-Tasawwuf belong and was achieved by Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh. They said that the scholars of Qarawiyyin was not able even to argue with him.
هذا الرجل يعني هو فريد من نوعه، حيث أنه توفي ولم يصل بعد إلى سن 40 سنة. لكنه يعني حديث المعمور، يعني كل أولياء الله في كل
I
مناطق
mentioned
العالم،
that
كل رجالة
he
التصوف
died
في
before
كل بلدان
reaching the
العالم
40
يحتجون
years
بالشيخ سيدي
old,
عبد
but
العزيز
he
الدباغ.
now is
وبالتالي
everywhere
هذا
is
الشيخ
talking
يعني ما
about Sheikh
كان
Sidi Abdul Aziz
يميزه
Dabbagh.
هو أنه لم يرى قط في مجالس العلم،
And I mentioned one
وأنه
of
لم
his
يؤثر عنه
karamat.
أنه حفظ كتاب الله، ولكن الرجل يعني حباه الله سبحانه وتعالى بالعلوم لدنية، علوم ذوقية يعني لا يستطيع مجارتها حتى الفحول من رجال أهل العلم.
ولا أدل على ذلك أن تلميذه الأكبر
I mentioned
كان
that one of
أحد
these karamat of his
مجتهدي
karam that
علماء
he
فاس
was
وعلماء
illiterate
القرويين،
and he
وهو
never been
الشيخ
seen
سيدي
in
أحمد
any
بن المبارك
traditional
اللمطي
school, in any
السكناسي رضي
madrasa,
الله عنه،
in any
وهو الذي حرر
like
كتابه
scientific gathering.
الإبريز. والشيخ سيدي
But
أحمد بن المبارك اللمطي
what he
السكناسي رضي
received
الله عنه
from Allah
مات
subhanahu wa ta'ala
يعني
was
أحد
much
الأئمة
better
الأعلام
than any other
بفاس
scholar.
وبالمغرب كله،
That's
بل
the
هو من
scholars of
المجتهدين.
Qarawiyyin who graduated from
يعني
Qarawiyyin Mosque,
أن يكون
Qarawiyyin
إمام
University, came
كبير
to him
يجتهد
in order to
في
study
الحديث
under
وفي
his
الفقه،
feet.
يكون تلميذا للشيخ سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ وهو لم يشتهر بالعلوم الشرعية، يعني هذا يدل على مكانة الرجل رضي الله عنه سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ.
سيدي عبد العزيز الدباغ في الحقيقة لم يترك طريقة معينة تحمل اسمه في حياته، كان له عدد من المريدين، من أبرز مريديه الشيخ سيدي أحمد بن المبارك صاحب الإبريز
I mentioned that
the
الطريقة of Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh was not in his life, but now it is started to be revived by Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al-Dabbagh.
لمريديه في كل الأنحاء العالم، والطريقة الآن تعرف يعني حياة جديدة عن طريق بعض مشايخ الطريقة المحمدية، خاصة الشيخ أحمد الدباغ الكشميري الأصل الدنماركي الجنسية، الذي له يعني الذي أحيا هذه الطريقة، وفي عهده انتشرت يعني هذه الطريقة، لها الآن مراكز في أوروبا وفي أمريكا وفي آسيا وفي كل أنحاء الدنيا.
ولوالدي وللمقربين مؤمنا والمؤمنين والمؤمنات ولا زد الظالمين إلا تبارا وأقم الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة واقرضوا الله قرضا حسنا.
ما يميز هذه الطريقة بالفعل هو منهجها في تزكية النفس، هذا المنهج العلمي الدقيق الذي يصلح لكل زمان وخاصة في زماننا هذا، وبه يتم تحقيق سعادة الإنسان، وبه يتم تحقيق يعني الاستقرار وتصفية النفس وتهذيبها بشكل علمي وبشكل دقيق، يعني يتوافق مع معطيات العصر.
ومن يطلع على كتابه العظيم، كتابه الإبريز، فيجد فيه من الآيات ومن الكرامات ومن الدلائل على قدم سبقه في طريق التصوف، كيف كان يحث تلاميذته، كيف كان يربيهم، كيف كان ينبههم، كيف كان يدعوهم إلى التوسط.
لا يأتيهم رسول الله كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كما أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون
Okay, this is a program which broadcast just 2 days ago in Moroccan International First TV, which is watched all over, not all over Africa, and also the southeast parts of Europe as well. And Alhamdulillah, this is from the fadl, from the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we mentioned that Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh is one of the greatest mashayikh of Ummah. He was illiterate man, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him some kind of knowledge which never been even heard by the scholars of his time. And the Kitab al-Ibriz, now alhamdulillah that English translation is ready, and also I think the Urdu, there is Urdu. If you read this book, you will find what I'm talking about. Some people can be confused how he is illiterate and gets this kind of knowledge. Because some people, when they say some Sufi mashayikh are illiterate, they go away from them. From first thing, sometimes the first question which the people ask it, from where your sheikh graduated. Did he study in Al-Azhar? Did he study in Karawi? Did he study? But they forget one essential element in Islam, which is the Prophet ﷺ, the miracle of the Prophet, Mu'jizatul Rasul, was al-Ummiyya. The Prophet ﷺ was Ummi. What does Ummi mean? He never attended any course, in his time there was many there are poets, there are philosophers, there are some religious people who taught other students, but the Prophet ﷺ never seen in this gathering. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to attribute him to himself. Nobody will teach you except myself. So his knowledge is pure, the purest knowledge in this earth. His knowledge is taken from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly, not mixed with the book's knowledge, because book's knowledge sometimes make things mixed in the mind of the people if there is no pure heart. That's why even for ulama, and with us some ulama, alhamdulillah, that they said that taking fatwa from the books is haram. Not taking fatwa from the books. We have to take fatwa from the muftis, from the mashayikh, not from books. Because the books, and I will mention this when I'm talking about the Sheikh Ahmed al-Dabba. So one of the most karamat of Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz al-Dabba, besides his illiteracy, was his book, Al-Idreesi. Now, let us move quickly to Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al-Dabba, who is, in my opinion, is the Sufi reviver in this age. Why the Sufi reviver in this age? Because he have all the characteristics of the revivers of Sufism. What is the characteristics of reviver? Who is the reviver? The reviver is the one who can give new life to Islamic values. I mean, the Sufi reviver is the one who can give new life to Sufi Islamic values through his creative approaches, which can be applied on real life and which is compatible with the actual context, time, and age. The other characteristic of the reviver, that he is working on the principles which he believes. He acts upon what he believes. Not only his way of reform is only in his mind, not in his heart. The teaching must come from his heart. What he must believe in what he is talking about. He must believe in what he is calling people to do, not like other revivers who just telling people to do something, but they don't do. And you know many stories, of course, for this. So the renewals characteristics of Sheikh in the Dawah's level. And here, I mentioned that Sheikh Ahmed al-Dabba is from the mashayikh who is consumed in the da'wah. He spent his time, his money, his life in da'wah. And you notice, better than me, that he is always traveling from one country to another just to do da'wah. And sometimes he spent many days in difficult circumstances, but only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not for name or for fame or for anything. Also, one of the characteristics of Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al-Dabba is his Sufi methodology, which cannot find in any other Sufi centers. And I'm sure about what I'm talking about because this is my field of study and I visited many Sufi centers. Of course, I can't say that all these Sufi centers, they don't do good jobs. There are some who are, alhamdulillah, from the top of the awliya Allah. There are some who doing good jobs, but I didn't find such a specific methodology of the purification, the self. From the murid, what all the disciple needs from the beginning of the path into the end of the path. Everything is included in small pages. And as you see in his lecture now, in this lecture, which you cannot find everywhere, and 100%, it's not 1999, as you mentioned, 100% of people ignores how to make dua. But the Sheikh give the exact way how to make dua, which you cannot even find in books. And if you find in books, you have to learn thousands of books in order to get this methodology. The Sheikh collects this different information in one simple method. This is also in the spiritual method, and this what you have seen the picture, this picture which is front of you, this is the best example of what I'm talking about. I will mention here, inshallah, just example of journey, the journey of man. The first thing, the first step, the person should first know his journey. I am in earth from where I came and where I am going to. So people normally don't care about this. They know that yes, I am here in the earth and I will death, and they believe that they are only in this level and they are going to the second and the third realms. But the Sheikh show you the first, and this is the basics of Aqidah. And this is the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ, because the Prophet ﷺ, the first teach the people the Aqidah. كنا نؤتى الإيمان قبل القرآن, as Umar ibn Khattab mentioned, that we have taught the Aqidah, the Iman, before the Quran, before even the practice. He was teaching. This is the Aqidah of the Muslim. That they started. There are many words. There are period of non-existence, then world of spirit, then the earth, here the earth, then here barzakh, then the day of judgment, then paradise or hell, fire. So the person know the map, the whole map of the journey, from where he came and where is he going. Then there is also the path is very clear. So the Sufi path, you cannot be confused. Even for myself, I'm talking about myself. I spent more than 20 years in studying Sufism. More than 20 years studying Sufism, because my father was a Sufi and I inherited this love of Sufism from my father. And then all my life studying Sufism. Hundreds or thousands of books I have read about Sufism. And also, I affiliated with many Sufi orders. And I spent with some mashayikh many years. But I can't understand exactly what is Sufism, even what is Sufism mean, till I met with the Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al-Dabbagh, who gave the exact meaning of Sufism and the exact who are you and what is your obstacles in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what prevents you from reaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the obstacles, what is the barriers, what is the problem with yourself, and you can judge yourself. You become like a sheikh for yourself. You can judge yourself. I say, I know that my fault is with myself. But in other Sufi tariqas, I was thinking that I'm reaching the wilaya and alhamdulillah, doing 5,000 la ilaha illallah each night, maybe 10 or 15,000 of la ilaha illallah each night I did. For many years I did 15,000 of la ilaha illallah, and alhamdulillah, I'm the best creation in this world. But But when I meet with Sheikh, you are nothing. Because if you don't know, you can, now this is the map, you can judge yourself. I will not tell you anything. This is the map, and you will judge yourself. And I find this very practical to my situation. And I know that everybody can benefit from this. And also I teach this to Sufi shuyukh. Many Sufi shuyukh in Morocco. I teach them this path. Because even Sufi shuyukh, they don't know this path. And the Sheikh gave me the permission to teach even the mashayikh this kind. And every word, I deliver lectures in the best universities of the world, and they never heard about this. From where Sheikh Sidi Ahmed Daba, from where he gets this? This is collection of information which is you can find some elements, but in thousands of books. But who collects? He need to live 1,000 years in searching, in studying, in order to collect all this information. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give him this. Why? Because he inherited one of the characteristics of his Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Daba, which is Ummiya. Sheikh Sidi Ahmed Daba is also Ummi. Ummi means illiterate in the term of religious studies. Yes, he is lower, he has some kind of knowledge, he graduates from some university, but from religious background, he is illiterate. His knowledge is pure. He's got from Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Daba. So like this, the four conditions of Sufism. Sometimes it's happened that many Sufi orders, I meet with some mashayikh and something wrong about the tariqah. I know that something wrong. There is some spiritual deviation, but I cannot judge where is the problem. Now when I started to chat from the beginning, the four conditions, if there is no belief, no fiqh, this tariqah can be misguided. So the first basics of Sufism is fiqh, aqidah, striving, mujahada, and tawbah. And this, after that, I started to understand what I have read before. Before I was just reading and full in my mind. Now the understanding, alhamdulillah, come after when I meet with Sheikh. The understanding of things. Now the conditions, now oh yes, this I studied in this book. He meant this. Before, if you asked me to explain you, I cannot explain. I can explain in a intellectual manner which can misguide people, not guide them to the truth. So then the person should do purification for 4 elements: body, mind, heart, and enlightenment, so, and self. Not only to base on dhikr. Dhikr, yes, good element, but but it is more beneficial in the process of enlightenment, not in the basic purification, because basic purification need to block the sins to come to the heart first. Then he show you the ultimate goal of the journey of man, the spiritual path. The ultimate goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many Sufi orders, they think that the ultimate goal is Jannah, or is paradise, is maybe to get some stations, some spiritual stations, some kind of wilaya. They don't know that the highest thing is the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself. Even the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes it's despair in this. So I mentioned that the Sheikh, beside this journey of man, this Sufi, this crystal clear Sufi methodology about the journey of man, the path from the precondition till the ultimate goal, and also the ascension path. That's what you see. And the ascension path, which can take the person to the above arsh and to other unseen worlds. This ascension is in itself karama of Sheikh Ahmed al-Dabbagh. Why? Because this karama, when I did my research about the mi'raj of awliya, I found that only few of them who are talking about the mi'raj. Few of the biggest awliya, the greatest awliya of time, who are talking about mi'raj, ascension, spiritual ascension. And they are talking about themselves. That we reached such station, we met like Al-Insan al-Kamil of Abdul Karim al-Jili. Abdul Karim al-Jili, in his book Al-Insan al-Kamil, he mentioned his mi'raj. Also Ibn Arabi sometimes mentioned his mi'raj, his spiritual ascension. But they are talking about themselves, not about students. Now the Sheikh is kept silent, and the students are talking about this. And these students, maybe in their spiritual ascension, they reached even the higher stations more than the greatest awliya which we are talking about. So how station is this Sheikh? We cannot see this. I cannot know. Even this is maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is know his station. But some of us cannot value this Sheikh, cannot value this kind of knowledge because he ignores this. He doesn't know more about Sufiya, doesn't know more about the authentic. But if he find himself accidentally with this Sheikh, he said, yeah, maybe this is good man. I heard from him, he's a wise man. But he cannot understand his spiritual station without knowing other mashayikh and what they have and what this Sheikh have. And the Sheikh is not talking about himself, never. He's like a trouser which is closed. The door is closed to this trouser. The person cannot enter through his physical interaction, but he should enter through his spiritual door. So I mentioned some of karamat of this Sheikh, because when we are talking about the mashayikh, the most attractive thing is to talking about the karamat. So this Sheikh has many karamat, which I know, and maybe millions of karamat which I didn't know, and I never heard about them. So the first karama is keeping steadfast on the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and that he care after a single piece, a single element of the sunnah. And this mentioned by the awliya of Allah, that al-istiqama, as it is mentioned by Abu al-Abbas al-Mursi, al-istiqamatu khayrun min alfi karama. That the straightness is better than 1,000 of karama. If you steadiness on the sunnah, you keep steadfast on the sunnah, this is better, much better than 1,000 of karama, as I mentioned before in the first and second lectures. The second thing, and here I don't know time. Oh, I think time is finished. Can I carry on? Stop. Okay. So inshallah, we still have some time to discuss. Oh, okay, we give quickly. So just I will mention something. I will share with you something. We were in a trip to Indonesia, and we were all of us, Sheikh and me, myself, and other students. We were in the bus, and we are going to the hotel. We were received at the airport by the host, and then there is police, because you know that Jakarta is a very crowded city in the world, and alhamdulillah, the host, they sent us the police in order to guide us to the hotel. So we were in our way to the hotel, and it was a little late. The time of Asr will expire. And the Sheikh stopped the bus, which is impossible to be stopped because no place, nothing there to stop. But Sheikh said, no, time of Asr, we have to pray. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by some means, we were able to have like a break and to pray Asr in the appropriate time. This is just, it's difficult to stop bus in this crowded road in these circumstances, difficult circumstances, but Sheikh did. The second thing is that he is consumed totally in the love of the Prophet ﷺ and the love of his mashayikh. When you sit with him, you find that he is consumed. He has nothing. He is fana fi Rasulillah. Fana fi Rasulillah. Sometimes he forgets about himself. He can sit if you are talking with the Prophet talking with him, talking to him about the Prophet or about the mashayikh. He can sit with you even whatever till you become tired. And he didn't feel tired. He is totally consumed in the love of the Prophet ﷺ, the love of Mashayikh. And just recently, he was in Fez, and he visited his Sheikh in different time, in the day and the night. Sometimes at midnight, he visited his shrine. And the shrine of the Sheikh, as you notice, is dangerous area. It's not safe. This is, for me, I was living there maybe 20 years ago, and I left this area because it is dangerous. It is not safe. But Sheikh sometimes visited the shrine of Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh in midnight, and sometimes in 2 a.m., sometimes in 3 a.m. When he felt the patient, he visited the sometimes it was raining. Just recently, it was raining at 3 a.m. and he asked the brother Muhammad to go with him to visit the Sheikh. It was 3 a.m., which is impossible for a person to go out from his home to visit it, even whatever is. But Sheikh, he totally consumed in the love of the Sheikh Sidi Abdul Aziz Dabbagh, visited his shrine. What about his physical presence? Then we have talked about his Ummiyah. Then another point which can mention the karamat of Sheikh Sidi Ahmed al-Dabbagh is his students. If you notice that the knowledge which these students have, you understand how this teacher, how the quality of the teacher is. Because if you want to look at the quality of university, the quality of teacher, you have to look at the students who graduated from this school. Sometimes many Sufit orders just look for the students who spend 30 years with the Sheikh or 20 years with the Sheikh, and then you can just by looking for their conducts, their behaviors, their treatment with people, then you can understand how this Sheikh is. You can judge yourself. Here, just spending few years with the Sheikh, alhamdulillah, he graduated not student, not shining heart students, but many of awliya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because their knowledge is something, when I sit with the ustads, many ustads here, just the young people. But when you sit and you hear them, that their knowledge is something which is very deep, highly deep. It cannot be understood by anybody. More than like psychologists or medicines or doctors, they know the diseases of the self. They know how to cure this, how to cure this. This is something which is not easy to be acquired by anybody. Then the Mi'raj, mashallah, if you look the Mi'raj of the Shaykh as a spiritual ascension, and the students which can reach at the stations which is higher above the maqamat of some awliya, many awliya mentioned in the history, and they mentioned their spiritual Mi'raj, and they describe like 70 hijab, like the 70 veils, or they describe the maqam al-ubudiyya or maqam al-abdiyya or anything, but the students describe something which is above this. I will share with with you some maybe some secrets which about the knowledge of the Shaykh about the Haqiqa Muhammadiyya. Haqiqa Muhammadiyya. I done research about this. Haqiqa Muhammadiyya, like the Muhammadan reality, the Nur al-Muhammadi. And just a few, the elite of the saints of Allah, the awliya Allah, who knows about this. many of them, they are talking about the Haqiqa Muhammadiyya. Few of them are talking about the Haqiqa Ahmadiyya. The Haqiqa Ahmadiyya. But no one of them is talking about Haqiqa Habibiyya. This is the first time I heard this from the Shaykh. I never heard this. And even Haqiqa Ahmadiyya, Sheikh Ahmad al-Tijani, which is considered, and the Sheikh Ahmad al-Tijani received his teaching directly from the Prophet ﷺ. Directly, Sheikh Sidi Ahmad al-Tijani, when he was asked from where he got this salat, he said verbally from the Prophet ﷺ. I get it verbally, directly from the Prophet ﷺ. Because my knowledge, he said, Sheikh Ahmad al-Tijani, my knowledge is taken from, your knowledge is taken from one, because the knowledge of the scholars normally they said عن فلان عن فلان عن فلان, and all those فلان فلان, all those people are dead. But he said that my knowledge is taken from الحي الذي لا يموت. My knowledge is taken from الحي الذي لا يموت, from the living one who never suffer from death or never die. So this is Sheikh Ahmad al-Tijani mentioned that Haqiqa Ahmadiyya, no one of awliya can enter into and knows about this Haqiqa Ahmadiyya. No one can. But when I was in private meeting with the Sheikh and discussed with him these points, sometimes he go deeply in this Haqiqa and he give you other realities, which is more deep than this. No one, just few of you who can understand these things, but this is just to share with you some of my feelings towards this tariqah and how we are lucky to be in the presence of this mashayikh. Also, one of the karamats, I don't know if you noticed that the sheikh, when one of the best recitation of the Quran I ever heard is the recitation of the sheikh is not, I am Arabs, I am a native Arabic speaker, and I am from the Idreesi family, from my mother and from my father. So I'm all my blood in my heart, my body is from Mawla Idris, from the Prophet ﷺ. So I know Arabic fluently. The Sheikh more Arabic than me, and sometimes he teaches me even Arabic. You will be surprised. But he teach me Arabic as well. Sometimes he is talking about some deep things in Arabic which I cannot understand. And I ask, okay, just give me some time in order to do my research. And I said, no, don't need time. If you everything need time to do research, you will spend your life in research. But just you try to purify your heart and you'll get this kind of knowledge. Also, the Quranic recitation I mentioned, that when he started to read the Quran, you feel that something is there, that his recitation is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He never made any mistakes. And I heard that the mashayikh who recite the Quran in Mecca, in a Haram al-Nabawi, when reading Quran, sometimes they make mistakes. But the Shaykh never made any mistakes. Never even hesitated to repeat some word or yes, when you are talking about him individually, sometimes yes, he do. But when he is connected in his salat, he is in mi'raj, he is connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From where he read this Quran, I don't know. So this is just some ideas, inshallah. I hope, inshallah, to share with you other ideas, inshallah, next time, maybe tomorrow if there is any opportunity. جزاكم الله بخير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We're not going to take any questions, but there has been enough food for thought for everyone. Just a point to make, and I can't reiterate this enough. When you have a specialist in the field, so if you have a heart surgeon who is a specialist in heart surgery, you take value from what they say. And Dr. Aziz, as we set out from the beginning, is a luminary, absolute, at the foremost of his profession in terms of Sufism. So when he speaks with authority. And just as if he was sitting, listening to a medical lecture and a heart surgeon talking about heart surgery or something about the heart, you would take that as the authority that it is. And it's something that we should deeply reflect upon in terms of what he has said. and we thank him for his absolutely incredible insight throughout this entire series and today, and inshallah we hope to hear more going forward as well. Jazakallah khair.